Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Danae, and today I'm going to talk about all the books that are currently on my physical TBR. I thought it'd be a lot of fun to go through all of them because I have somehow accumulated a few books on my TBR that I just don't know how they got there. I had a rule in place that I wouldn't be buying books that I didn't intend on reading immediately, but obviously I didn't follow through on that. But also, I have been so addicted to reading on my Kindle for the past several months that I have not read a physical book in a long time. So I want to go through all these books, figure out what books I'm the most interested in reading, and kind of get back into reading physical books, and to do like a TBR takedown video in the future so that I can read through my physical TBR. And I would also like to get a new bookshelf so that I can buy more books and fill it out, because right now my books are kind of scattered across my apartment, so it's kind of honestly hard to tell which books I own and I haven't read because I'm not really paying that much attention to them in one area. It just sounds like an excuse to buy more books, but whatever, it's gonna be fun. So anyway, I'm popping into this intro really quick as future Danae because I've already filmed this video, but then I wanted to say this quick. I am really sick. I just got back from vacation. I got sick on vacation. I'm very snuffly. My voice is like really weird and odd, and I'm sorry. Here are my books here. I don't even know how many I have, so I'm going to count them through, and then we'll just go through one by one and talk about all the books that I currently own and haven't read. I've honestly kind of forgotten half of these books. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I have 20 unread books. I'm counting each individual Twilight book because I haven't read them, but I'll start here. I don't know, no particular order. First book on my physical TBR is Twisted Love by Anna Wong, book 1 in the Twisted series. I have no idea how long I've had this book. I know I've had it for a while, but for some reason I had never heard of it, and I just randomly picked it up in the bookstore one day because it was a romance book and never looked back, never picked it up. But I know this is a very popular series and this is a very popular author. I read King of Wrath by Anna Wong also, and I loved that book. So lately I've been more and more inclined to pick up Twisted Love. But it says, he has a heart of ice, but for her, he'd burn the world. You are the light to my dark sunshine. Without you, I'm lost. Alex Volkov is a devil blessed with the face of an angel and cursed with a past he can't escape. Driven by a tragedy that has haunted him for most of his life, his ruthless pursuits for success and vengeance leave little room for matters of the heart. But when he's forced to look after his best friend's sister, he starts to feel something in his chest. A crack, a melt, a fire that could end his world as he knew it. Ava Chen is a free spirit trapped by nightmares of a childhood she can't remember. But despite her broken past, she's never stopped seeing the beauty in the world, including the heart beneath the icy exterior of a man she shouldn't want. Her brother's best friend, her neighbor, her savior, and her downfall. Theirs is a love that was never supposed to happen, but when it does, it unleashes secrets that could destroy them both and everything they hold dear. Honestly, out of all the books in my physical TBR, I think this might be one of the first ones I pick up because there's also a Kindle version, so I can probably flip back and forth, and this will help wane me off of like reading only Kindle books. I'm pretty interested in it. A lot of people say it's cringy, it's not their favorite, but book 2 is their favorite. I think there's 3 books in this series. Oh wait, maybe there's 4. Yeah, I think maybe there's more than 3. There's a few books in the series, I don't know. But I would like to buy all of them physically because I just don't like owning one book in a series. So that's Twisted Love. Red Rising is my next one. This is a very popular, very, I think all of these, honestly, are going to be very popular books. But very, very popular book. I picked it up because it was described as like Hunger Games meets, Game of Thrones, and personally I've never watched Game of Thrones, but I know the vibes and there's dragons and all kinds of stuff, but I just like never read it. I never got into it. I am a romance heavy reader, so this is like, I don't know why I picked this up. I pretty much only read romance books, but I want to be able to explore and not read only romance books, so that's probably why I picked it up. It says, his wife taken, his people enslaved, driven by a longing for justice and the memory of lost love, Darrow will stop at nothing to bring down his enemies, even if he must become one of them to do so. It sounds interesting enough. I don't know. Eventually, I think I will read this. Obviously, I will because I'm going through my physical TBR. I do soon plan to do a TBR takedown and read all of these books, so yeah. The next one, again, extremely popular, and I have been excited to pick this book up. I could not stop thinking about Bury Our Bones in a Midnight Soil because everybody's been talking about it. Bought it and have not even thought twice about it. Put it on my shelf, never crossed my mind again. I don't know why, honestly. I think it's because I've been putting it off to read like later in a video, but I'm so bad at recording myself reading that I just have never picked it up. This says, 3 young women, their bodies planted in the same soil, their stories tangling like roots. One grows high and one grows deep and one grows wild, and all of them grow teeth. And then on like the inside it says, this is a story about hunger, this is a story about love, This is a story about rage. This is a story about life, how it ends, and how it starts. And then each is a different timeline, so 1532, 1827, and 2019, which seems super intriguing to me. See, this is good. Going through these are good because it's making me remember why I bought any of these books in the first place. Alchemized by Sin Lin Yu. I've had this book since last December when it first came out. I went into the store that day and picked this book up, but I think I was a little bit too ambitious when I picked this up, and I mostly bought it because it was like Dramani fanfic, but honestly, no other thought was put into it. And then after I like looked it up a little bit, it's super dark and it's obviously got all these things about it. I was like, I don't know if I want to commit to reading that right now, and that turned into ever. I never wanted to commit to reading it. It's also 1,000 pages. Like, I just don't know if this is a book I plan on picking up in the near future, but it's really pretty. I like having it on my bookshelf, and I do think eventually I'll read it. Like, but as of right now, it's not even in the running. I am nothing if not easily influenced when it comes to a book and when someone says it's a good book, so I picked this up, and I don't know when I'm gonna read it, if I will read it, but I have a few books on this list that kind of fit in that category, so I'm thinking maybe I'll do a video where I'm reading books that I've been avoiding and I'll pick up this book. Okay, the next on my list is a duology. It is the Jasad Heir. Another case of I was extremely excited to read a book, bought it, never picked it up. But this book I am gonna read it soon. I also have the Jasad Crown, the second book. I bought them both because I was convinced that I was going to read them both in the weekend, but I never ended up picking it up. But the first book says, an unmissable tale of shattered kingdoms, forbidden magic, and cunning royals unfold in this Egyptian-inspired epic fantasy debut. 10 years ago, the kingdom of Jasad burned down as magic was outlawed, as royal family murdered. I heard that this book has epic yearning, like the most amount of yearning someone has ever read in a book, and I have to be honest, I want to experience that. I love yearning, I love fantasy, and I do plan on reading it. I just bought these recently, so I haven't been holding off too long on these ones, not as long as all of the other ones. I am really intrigued, and everybody seems to like these books. I've not heard very many negative things about them. So okay, I've got just a few more books on my list of books that I have on my physical TBR, and I'm realizing every single one of these books I want to read. I don't know why I ever procrastinated reading them. I say as I'm about to put all of these back on my bookshelf and continue to not read them, but one day I will make it happen. Okay, the next one is The Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I really want to read this book. I'm still convinced I'm gonna like it. A lot of people said it wasn't their favorite Emily Henry book. I have only read one of her books, so I have nothing to compare it to, because a lot of people said it's different in comparison to her other books, and that's why they didn't enjoy it as much. But I have nothing to compare it to except Funny Story, which I gave a 5 stars. So I think this book basically just follows two writers in competition for a big story, and they're interviewing this lady, something, and somehow during that they end up falling in love with each other. I think it sounds interesting. Lately I have been in the mood for like dark romance books, so I haven't picked this up, but I am still interested, still intrigued. Okay, A Little Life. This is a book I am very much avoiding, have been avoiding. Bought this in 2024. This is one of the first books I bought when I was getting back into reading, and I literally just went to Target, walked into the book aisle. I saw this book with this man like crying, and I was like, that looks interesting, that looks fun, I want to read it. Not until I got home did I search it up on TikTok, and I realized that this is one of the most devastating books out there. So many people say just don't even read it. It's so devastating. It's trauma after trauma after trauma. And to be honest, I'm just not in the mood to read it ever. I'm not gonna lie, I looked at spoilers. I kind of have an idea of what's going on, and nothing about this book is intriguing to me anymore. I don't even know why I picked it up in the first place. So that's this book. But I don't want to get rid of it because one day I might read it. It's the same way I feel about Alchemized. One day I might find these books interesting enough to read, but that day is not today or in the near future, but one day. I also have Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. This book is also very, very popular. I really want to like it. I really want to read it, but for some reason, every time I start it, I end up like reaching for a different book. Some legacies are meant to be broken. After her mother dies in an accident, 16-year-old Bree Matthews wants nothing to do with her family memories or childhood home. A residential program for bright high schoolers at UNC Chapel Hill seems like the perfect escape until Bree witnesses a magical attack her very first night on campus. A flying demon feeding on human energies, a secret society of so-called Legendborn students that hunt the creatures down, and a mysterious teenage archmage who calls himself a Merlin, who attempts and fails to wipe Bree's memory of everything she saw. The mage's failure reveals Bree's own unique magic and a buried memory with a hidden connection. The night her mother died, another Merlin was at the hospital. Now that Bree knows there's more to her mother's death than what's on the police report, she'll do whatever it takes to find out the truth, even if that means infiltrating the Legendborn as one of their initiates. She recruits Nick, a self-exiled Legendborn, with his own grudge against the group, and their reluctant partnership pulls them deeper into the society's secrets and closer to each other. But when the Legendborn reveal themselves as the descendants of King Arthur's knight and explain that a magical war is coming, Bree has to decide how far she'll go for the truth and whether she should use her magic to take society down or join the fight. Honestly, this book has every trope or every little characteristic that I typically look for in a fantasy book. It seems interesting. It has romance. It has a lot of different concepts in it that Primrose, don't smack her. Sorry, my cat is she's not hissing or anything, but she looks like she wants to slap my dog, and so I kind of have to tell her chill. Anywho, it has everything that I want in a book and I want to read it. I think my problem is I think they're in high school. Yeah, bright high schoolers. For some reason, I'm 24. I don't love reading about high schoolers. Not that it's weird or anything, but I mean, I've been reading the Binding 13 series and I really have been liking those books, so I could totally put it aside and read this book. But lately, more and more, reading about young high schoolers, younger college students don't feel as interesting as reading about middle-aged people. I'm not middle-aged. I'm 24. I just graduated college last year when I was 23, so I'm not too far removed from college, so I love to read about college stories, but high school stories seem a little harder to get into for me for some reason. But again, I've been reading Binding 13, so I'm fickle. But I do want to read this book, so I'm going to read it. Obviously, I'm going to read all these books on my TBR. Surely, I'm going to read them all. Another stack. Here comes another stack. Another book I've been avoiding. Just Friends by Haley Pham. This is another book that I bought on debut day, debut night, and haven't read. Nothing against this book. I think the concept is cool. I actually have read a few chapters, but admittedly, there were other books pulling my attention, and I kind of just put it down and never picked it back up. I think it's going to be a cutesy read. Childhood best friends to lovers. They were best friends. They lose contact with each other for whatever reason. She goes to college. He does whatever he does. She comes back to her hometown, and after years apart, they reconnect and they fall in love. Yeah, I've just been avoiding it because it's a simple contemporary romance book, and lately that has not been my vibe. I've been reading dark romances, paranormal romances, everything but a regular schmegular romance book, so I think that's why I just hadn't read it, but I am still very interested in it. The next book is Beartown by Frederick Bachman. It says, Beartown has always been told it is second best. Now its junior ice team has a chance to become champions, but it's what happens off the ice that will change this town forever. I know this book is a fan favorite. So many people love this book. So many people say it's devastating. That's what drew me in. I do love a book that will make me cry, and I have been looking for 5-star reads when I picked this book up, and Sarah Caroli heavily loves these books. She heavily recommends them on her YouTube channel, so I was like, you know what? I want to read it. I picked it up, but it says, a tiny community deep in the forest, Beartown hasn't been the best at anything in a long time. But down by the lake stands an old ice rink, and in that ice rink, Kevin, Amat, Benji, and the rest of the town's junior ice hockey team are about to compete in the national semifinals, and they actually have a shot at winning. All the hopes and dreams of this place now rest on the shoulders of a handful of teenage boys. Under that heavy burden, the semifinals match becomes the catalyst for a violent act that will leave a young girl traumatized and a town in turmoil. This is a story about a town and a game, but even more about loyalty, commitment, and the responsibilities of friendship. The people we disappoint even though we love them, and the decisions we make every day that come to define us. In this story of a small forest town, Frederick Bachman has found the entire world. I think that sounds alluring. I think that sounds interesting. I'm starting to wonder why this book has sat on my shelf unread like the rest of these. I do want to read it, but it's giving winter and summer just started, so now I'm like, do I wait until fall/winter again, or do I just read it even though it's 90 degrees outside today? I don't know, but I like the sound of it, so I don't know. An Ember in the Ashes. This book, I saw it at the store. I thought it looked nice. I just liked the look of the cover, so I picked it up. I didn't read the back. I didn't read a page. I barely read the title. I just liked the look of the book, which happens too often for me, but most of the time it works. Whenever I look at a book and it just has the vibes and I read it, I always love it. This book, Leia is a slave, Elias is the soldier, neither is free. Under the martial empire, defiance is met with death. Leia and her family do not challenge the empire. They see what happens to those who do. But when Leia's brother is arrested for treason, she is forced to make a decision. In exchange for help from rebels who promise to rescue her brother, she will risk her life to spy for them from within the empire's greatest military academy. There, Leia meets Elias, the school's finest soldier and secretly its most unwilling. He and Leia will soon realize that their destinies are intertwined and their choices will change the fate of the empire itself. Honestly, sounds exactly like a book I would like to read. I have read several chapters, maybe a chapter or two of this book. I've read a little bit of it, but I'm just not good at reading physical books. I will force myself to read it at some point. I will enjoy it. I don't know how many books are in this series, but I think that's also been a problem is I want to complete a few series I'm in the middle of before I start some new ones. And a lot of the books that I have here are like book ones in a series. Well, actually, no. It's a good mixture because this is book one. 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 Okay, well, you know what? A lot of the books I have are book one, and I want to complete a few series before I started a few series, but at this point, I don't think it matters. I'm just gonna read what I'm gonna read. I'm not gonna hold myself to those standards anymore. Okay, the next book is Normal People by Sally Rooney. I'm gonna put this in the stack of books I have been avoiding because I don't really know why I bought this book. I think it was just popular and I picked it up, but I have never once really felt a pull to pick it up. I'm struggling to find what to say about it. Let's just read it. I have to be fully transparent with you guys. I have never read the back of it, so let's read the back of the book together for the very first time because I have no idea what this book is about. I just liked that it was called Normal People, I guess. I don't know. I normally read, as you can tell, fantasy, romance-esque books. I am trying to venture out. Maybe that's why I picked this book up, because I do want to venture out and read different things. But then again, I think this is a romance book. So it says, a stunning novel about the transformative power of relationship. Cornell and Maureen grew up in the same small town, but the similarities end there. At school, Cornell is popular and well liked, while Maureen is a loner. But when the two strike up a conversation, awkward but electrifying, something life-changing begins. Normal People is a story of mutual fascination, friendship, and love. It takes us from that first conversation to the years beyond, in the company of two people who try to stay apart but find that they can't. Oh, it's literally only 287 pages. I have to stop doing this thing where I pick up books and I don't know what they're about. This book actually sounds interesting and I would like to read it. I'm gonna put it on the list of books I've been avoiding. I do know I was avoiding this book because a lot of people say the dialogue doesn't use quotations and stuff, which is not a good reason to not read a book, but for me it was good enough to not want to read it for whatever reason. But I do want to read every book on this list, almost every book on the list. All right, the next book, Aragon by Christopher Poloni. This I picked up at Barnes & Noble because I think this was a major childhood book / movie that I just somehow skipped over. No idea why. So I was interested in reading it. I was in a dragon kick. I read Fourth Wing. Oh wait, no. I think I picked this up around the time I was reading A Court of Thorns and Roses, and it felt A Court of Thorns and Roses-esque, but with dragons. When Aragon finds a polished blue stone in the forest, he thinks it is the lucky discovery of a poor farm boy. Perhaps it'll buy his family meat for the winter. But when the stone brings a dragon hatchling, Aragon soon realizes he has stumbled upon a legacy nearly as old as the Empire itself. It really does sound interesting, and I was intrigued on reading it, and I have to be honest, the only reason I did not read it is because I cannot stand the formatting of the book. Like, why is it so far in, and why are the page numbers on the side? I hate it. And therefore, I don't think I'm going to read it. I'm so sorry. This could be the best book ever. But the formatting, like, the margins, it just doesn't make sense to me. Why are the words in the crevice in the spine? Why is there so much space here for page numbers? What is going on? Am I crazy for that? I don't know, but I hate it, and therefore I won't be reading this book. So it's kind of on my physical TBR because it's a book I own that I haven't read, but it's a book I have probably no intention on reading, and therefore I might unhaul it, but that is a decision for another time. Next, I have A Court of Wings and Ruin. I've basically DNF'd this book at this point. I've been reading it for well over a year. I am 193 pages in. I've tried to read it, but it is a drag. I know so many people say this is the best book of the series. I read A Court of Thorns and Roses. I thought it was okay until the last 100 pages, and then I was like, oh, this is interesting, which is natural in a fantasy book. And then I read A Court of Mist and Fury. I thought it was kind of interesting. I liked it. I cannot make it through this book. It might be because I keep picking it up and putting it down, picking it up and putting it down, and I need to just read it. But this is on my TBR. Yeah. I don't want to say what it's about because it's book 3 in a series, even though I'm pretty sure everyone knows what the series is, everyone has read it, but it continues to follow Farah, I can't remember her name, like how to pronounce her name, and her journey after Courts and Thrones and Roses. That's pretty much all I can say. I know why I've been avoiding this book, but I don't know why I haven't liked it. So many people like it, so many people say it's the best book ever, it's what got them into reading, and I would love to experience that. There are tropes in here that are my favorite tropes and that I've been yearning for in different books, so I would find that I might enjoy this book, but I have to like dedicate myself to reading it, if that makes any sense at all. Okay, my last book, I saved them for last because these are like specialty books. These are the Twilight books, as you can tell. I didn't count this Twilight book twice, but look how beautiful. I got this for my birthday from my boyfriend, the whole set, this one, and then all of these. I really did want to read it during the winter time, and for some reason the winter time is exclusively for rewatching the movies and rewatching the Hunger Games. In between my rewatches, I didn't have time to read these books, and when I was reading them, I kept comparing them to the movies because I was actively reading the movies as well. I will say I do very much want to read these books. I remember reading a few of them at some point when I was like 11 years old, but I have not read them since. I don't know what happens in them. Like, I know the movies, but I don't know the books very well, so I would like to read them, but I think I'm gonna save them until winter. It seems like the only right thing to do, honestly. So right around the time I do, I reread again or rewatch. I don't rewatch it every year, but I might rewatch it again this year, and then I'll do like, I'll read Twilight, watch Twilight, read New Moon, watch New Moon. That sounds fun to me. But yeah, those are all the books currently on my physical TBR. I do probably plan on buying a few new books soon. Not anytime soon, honestly. I've been having so much fun reading on my Kindle. I just think I need to get back into reading physical books so I can read all these books I have purchased. Thank you so much for watching this video and bearing with me, even though my voice is tragic because I am so sick right now. But yeah, those are all, what was it, 20 books on my physical TBR. I don't even know how I got that many, but I think it's not that much. Honestly, I feel like I could add a few more. Now that I've gone through them, it's cleared my mind on which ones I want to read. I do definitely think I'm going to be doing a TBR takedown video so that I can read the ones that I am the most interested in reading, and then the ones that I keep putting off, I think I'm going to end up unhauling because it makes no sense to own books that I have no intention of reading, except for Alchemized, because I think it's going to just look nice on my bookshelf, to be honest. That is everything I have today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, see you later.